your host, Andrew Romanella.
When you play Battle in Mario Kart and you don't turn off any of the items, there are bananas everywhere. I mean, it's like you're losing your balloons because you're slipping on bananas left and right. Bananas everywhere. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another edition of The Rome Show here on 12ouncesports.com. We broadcast live on YouTube and X. I am Andrew Romanella. I got you for the next 30 and change as we do every single day, 7 a.m. on 12 Ounce Sports. Follow the social media, The Rome Show 1, Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok, any social media. And then, of course, subscribe to the show, 12 Ounce Sports on YouTube or X, and on both of those avenues you can comment live on the show. I am fired up today. It's Wednesday, hump day, December 4th, 2024, and Major League Baseball is really starting to piss me off. We are 2 months away from pitchers and catchers being on the rubber, and I am already mad at Major League Baseball. We'll discuss that. Plus, I'm also annoyed at the College Football Rankings Committee. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I am diehard college football guy, but I have watched and paid attention enough to understand that the committee completely screwed Miami last night. So we must discuss that. And then, of course, I promised you yesterday some NBA, and we will get to that at some point in this show. The New York Knickerbockers wrapped up East Group A last night in the NBA Cup. So they have a solid chance for some money and a mini victory coming up in Las Vegas. Then your daily bananas. Of course, you got to get on the show on social media. Let's start, ladies and gentlemen, by going straight off this Rome because I am fired up at Major League Baseball. So I don't know if you have seen the reports recently out of Major League Baseball, but I will read it for you right now. I saw it yesterday on the social media sphere, and today it is firing me up. Rob Manfred says that there is buzz around adding the golden bat rule, where a team could use one at bat in every game to use its best hitter, regardless of where they are in the lineup. I've also gone a little bit deeper in reading. There's a few variations of this rule that Rob Manfred and Major League Baseball are exploring for the future of baseball. So the first one is, as I just read, the straight up golden bat rule. Okay. The second option would be each team gets one golden AB per game, except from innings 7, 8, and 9. And the third variation that the voters are possibly going to vote for, or that's on the table, is probably the appropriate verbiage, is only the team that is trailing or tied in the 9th inning or later gets to use the golden AB. So essentially, there are 3 scenarios on the board for Major League Baseball, and then I will tell you why I'm so fired up. The first scenario is, at any point in time during the game, under the golden AB rule, any player in your offense can hit whenever you want them to. So your example would be Juan Soto gets up with men on first and second, 1 out in the 9th inning, okay, and walks. The base is loaded. And the next hitter is, let's say, Anthony Volpe, and he's on an 0 for 27. Aaron Boone can now choose to tell Juan Soto, hey, come back to the dish. You're going to hit again. So that's the first variation of the golden AB rule. The second variation of that rule, as proposed by Rob Manfred, commissioner of Major League Baseball, and according to him, has buzz surrounding it. The second variation of that rule is that can only happen in the 7th inning or earlier. So, 6th inning or earlier. So innings 1 through 6, you're allowed a golden AB. Innings 7 through 9, traditional baseball as it currently stands. And then the third variation would be only in the ninth inning for the team trailing or tied. So therefore, if you're the away team in the top of the ninth, you would be allowed the golden AB if you were tied or losing. And if you're the home team in the bottom of the ninth, tied or losing, you would be allowed a golden AB. And then both teams into extra innings. I'm not even going to entertain the rule really in its entirety. What I'm going to explain to the people as to why I am so fired up right now is because the constant need to change the game of baseball. And I'm not the only one on this mountain, okay? I had a bunch of people write into the Instagram, the Rome Show 1, Instagram and Twitter, X, whatever you call it. Let us know your thoughts. I had multiple people write in. And the biggest thing I'm reading from the people is, why does Major League Baseball need to consistently change the game? What is the reasoning for Major League Baseball to consistently change the game? Now, the easiest thing to say is they want more eyes on baseball. They're watching these other sports, hockey, basketball, football, gain immense popularity over their sport that's existed for, let's call it 150 years for sake of conversation. And this has been a battle in baseball for a really long time. How do we evolve the game? What are the next steps for baseball? How do we take baseball to the next level so that they can begin to get viewership and following like football, basketball, and hockey, okay? And I think it's one of those things where if you add this to the sport, you are completely changing the sport for what the sport is. And that's okay. Go beyond the Banana Ball World Tour. There is other baseball that exists like that, right? I think that Major League Baseball has now crossed a line. Okay, we've gone too far. You want the speed up. You want to tell a pitcher how many times he has to pick off. You want to tell a batter he only has one timeout. He's got to have his head up within 10 seconds. You could put all those things in. You want to make the bases bigger. You could do all of those things, which I know have probably to a degree helped baseball. The game's being played a little bit faster. It seems like it's a little bit more exciting. You have Shohei steal 50 bases and hit 50 homers, something that probably would never happen had you not changed the bases, the pickoff rule, and the timing with which a pitcher has to work between pitches, okay? This has been the identity of baseball for 10 years. Who are we as a sport? Seriously, what is baseball? Because it's not necessarily what I'm coaching at the college level. And my difference at the lower end college level comparative to the higher end college level is insanely different. And then the difference between us and the independent leagues is wildly different. And the difference between the independent leagues and Major League Baseball is wildly different as well. So the bottom line for the sport of baseball is we have lost our identity as a sport. And the man leading our charge into the next generation of baseball players has also lost the identity for the sport. I believe there are 1,000 other ways you can work on making this sport better outside of completely killing the identity of the actual sport. Listen, man, it's a sport designed off the fact that you cannot hit out of order. Once you get taken out of the game, you can't get put back in. Those are all strategies to the game. How many times in the history of the game have we talked about a bad bullpen maneuver or a terrible pinch running or a positive? Man, I was watching the Red Sox documentary the other day. In 2004, without the pinch running of Dave Roberts, the Red Sox do not win Game 4, do not go on their 4-game comeback of the Yankees, don't win the 2004 World Series. That's a managerial decision. You are now taking those out of the hands of the managers. You're changing the game. And in no way, shape, or form do I want to watch Juan Soto hit and then watch Juan Soto hit 2 people later. It's asinine. I get your thought. Oh, we can get the best players in front of the people as much as possible. Okay. I see what you're thinking there. I got an idea. Why don't you stop with your regional crap and start working on being a national sport like every other sport? Why don't you stop on your team, and why don't you start selling the individual like every other sport? Maybe that's the idea that will get you to grow the game. Maybe it's not, let's go ahead and play some clown sport that doesn't even look like baseball. And by the way, to finish this off, good for Banana Ball. If you haven't checked it out, go check out the Savannah Bananas, because what they're doing is phenomenal. And why it's phenomenal is because they don't claim to be baseball. They claim to be a traveling baseball circus, much like the Harlem Globetrotters. And that's cool. It's fun. It's entertaining. The dudes are actually good at the sport of baseball, and they're freaking impressive with what they do. That's not Major League Baseball. So if you want that fix, go to Banana Ball. If you want baseball, let's just work on making that product better. Let's work on selling Aaron Judge more. Let's work on game times. Maybe the West Coast can't play at 10:15 at night. Maybe we should make all the West Coast games, 6 o'clock on the West Coast. So it's 9 o'clock on the East Coast, and there's a resemblance of chance for people to watch some of the best players in the world that play on the West Coast. So it is disturbing. Mike Day writes in, we're popping it up on the screen. What kind of Mickey Mouse League idea is this, Mike? I can't lie to you. I couldn't agree more with that comment. I also had a write in on Instagram that really stuck out to me. I'm going to read this to the people, and then we move forward. What is wrong with these people running baseball 1 year at a time? All for people who aren't really fans of the actual game. No other sport distorts their game like baseball does. It's absurd. The game was better before all the changes. It was even better when the pitchers were hitting in the National League. Free out or not, it was baseball. I'd rather see pitchers hit than this rule. Very interesting take from Jay Muller 6 right there. He'd rather see pitchers hit than this rule. And I'm not going to lie to you. I actually would agree with that. Because again, there is some mental interest to the pitcher hitting. I'm almost more interested in watching a baseball where pitchers hit again and there's no DH than I am a baseball where you could randomly insert a dude to hit whenever you want. So I don't know if this is real. I don't know if Manfred is putting this out just because he wants to get a reaction and see what people think, but I'm not going to lie to anyone on these airwaves. Clip this right now if you want to and hold me to it later on. There's a solid chance. I'm not going to say that I'll stop coaching baseball, but it will be really hard for me to want to stay in the career of coaching a game that I would be coaching at the college level. Completely different. So different. Not the same base size, not the same pitch clock, not the same anything, right? I'm coaching a different game. So, yeah, I don't know if I could get on board with that. That's just, I'm good. I'm good. You know, you could talk about football rules all day. Flags stink. They don't know half their rules. Ineligible man downfield shouldn't even be a thing. We don't want people to get hurt, hit, whatever. At the end of the day, football is still football. Right? It's not all of a sudden a first down's now 7 yards instead of 10. The kickoff, think about how much annoyance some people in the kickoff. Just get the kickoff out. Exactly. It's either play the game the way the game was designed or completely change it. But this half in, half out thing is actually worse. And that's where Major League Baseball is right now. The Rome Show 1, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, X. We've been posting a lot recently. Get up on it. Subscribe. Follow us on everything. Hey, and give us your opinions, please. We love the opinions of the people, and we want to hear it, just like Mike Day when he wrote in on the YouTube page. We are going to take a quick commercial break, then we are going to come back with the college football playoff rankings, where University of Miami got screwed. And I'm over how excited I was for the college football playoff, the 12 team, the interest, and then last night, the committee started, who's headed by the AD at Michigan. What are we doing? Anyways, college football is on the docket, back on the commercial break. Then we got a little NBA in your daily pick'ems. It's a great Rome show here on a hump day, 12/4/24. Andrew Romanella back after this. 12 Ounce Sports. I hope you're enjoying it.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
It's the Rome Show!
Yeah, the Rome Show, 12ouncesports.com. We broadcast on YouTube, X, all the things. You can comment live on those. Andrew Romanella. We got like 12 to 14 minutes left. It's a variance here on this show. 12, 14, 15. Who knows? It's all how we feel. Sometimes I'm fired up. Sometimes I'm not. I just want to take a second. Was thinking about this on the break to thank the people that listen to this show on a daily basis. Listen, you show up every day in your own house, in your own studio, and it's been about 5.5 years that we've been doing the Rome Show now. It started as the Dab Podcast, which is to my broadcast left ear, or your broadcast right, my left, which I started with, excuse me, my brother-in-law's brother, Anthony Rinaldi, which was super cool. We started, man, we were recording literally on the computer. Like we had a computer in front of us, and we were just talking into the computer. We had no idea what we were doing. We started that podcast in 2018, end of 2018, early 2019. And we started the Dab Podcast, and it kind of just rolled. And we took the Dab Podcast, and as Anthony continued forward with his life and his family, I rolled it into the Rome Show. We had a stint where Rocky was on every single week. We were a weekly show, like as in once a week. Then we kind of just floated into the air of podcast space, which is an interesting place to be. The Rome Show Podcast, wherever you get your podcast, just search it. Podcast space is interesting because you have no idea who the hell is out there listening to you. Some days you think you're recording a podcast for literally just your mother and your father, which Deb and Rock, I love to death because they've supported me my whole life. I'm not here doing this without them. But at some point you want a third listener, and a fourth and a fifth. And so then you get to 12 Ounce Sports, and I have no idea. I never know what numbers are right. I never know. I don't know if it's that I don't trust numbers thing. Some days you see numbers that are higher. Some days you see numbers that are lower. But at the end of the day, you see numbers. And people are listening. And yes, Deb and Rock do still listen, and I love them for it. But now we have gained that third and that fourth and that fifth and so on listener. And I just want to thank the people for that. It was Thanksgiving last week. It's a time in the holidays to be thankful. I talk to my team all the time about servant leadership, leading to serve as opposed to leading to receive. And I just want to take a second to thank the people, because I was thinking about it on the commercial break, and I was like, I can't believe that even 5 people might listen to this show on a daily basis, let alone whatever the hell is out there listening. So again, just wanted to thank the people. You're the best. Without you, I'm literally just talking to a window and the nice scenery outside the studio right now. So thank you. You know, I'm not going to thank the College Football Playoff Committee for their rankings yesterday. So first, I'm going to throw on the screen the rankings from the College Football Playoff Committee. Now, as a fresh reminder for everybody, it is a 12-team playoff in 2024. The 5 conference champions, 4 Power 4, and then the best team from the non-Power 4 conference school champions. So right now on your screen, that would be number 10, Boise State. Remember that information when we get to the next screen. So then from there, so the top 4 of those conference champions get the first 4 spots and the bye. Okay. Then another spot from spot 5 through 12 is taken up by another conference champion. And then the committee essentially has 6 people that they can choose from. So when you look at this top 25, number 1 through number 12 are not necessarily the people going to the playoff. Okay. So the things that didn't change: Oregon, Texas, they stay in the top 2. Ohio State drops to 6 after their 13-10 loss to Michigan. Georgia is number 5 after their 7 overtime win against Georgia State. Georgia Tech, Georgia State, that was wild. Penn State, Notre Dame, they are 3 and 4. SMU, Indiana, still in the top 10. Boise State, number 10. Here's where that matters. Check the screen. Now, if the playoff ended and the conference champions stay with the favorite in their conference championship, which we put up on the screen the other day. So essentially, Clemson can't win the ACC. SMU has to win the ACC. Texas has to win the SEC, right? Like those things happen. Then this that you're looking at right now stays, okay? And so the biggest thing that happened last night in this decision-making process of the top 25 was the College Football Playoff Committee ranked Miami, as you see on the left side of your screen, number 12, and Alabama, number 11. Now, there's some problems with this, and here are my issues with it. First and foremost, Miami has a 10-2 record. Alabama has a 9-3 record. If we are to compare the 4 Power 4 conferences, right? And we're saying these 4 Power 4 conferences compared to the rest of the country, these are the elite conferences. That's why their conference champion gets a first round bye essentially in the college football playoff, but an automatic bid. If we put those 4 conferences in that high of a regard, then at the end of the day, I don't care what schedule Miami plays. They play a Power 4 conference schedule. They are better record. They better rank than Alabama. That is the beginning of the argument. The second part of the argument is they're talking about how in 5 games, Miami's given up 31 or more points. I'm sorry. When they changed this format and they made it a 12-team playoff, did they put a caveat in there stating it's not about winning or losing football games? It's just about what the committee feels looks better? Because then I would have looked at this a whole lot differently. Because now I see it differently. Oh, it doesn't necessarily matter if you win the games. It matters if you play the hardest schedule. So finally, I've then come to the conclusion that if you want to win a national championship, you have to be in the SEC. If you're not in the SEC or the Big Ten, it's almost impossible to win a national championship without winning your conference championship. It's the truth. You get disrespected. Your schedule's not strong enough. Okay, College Football Playoff Committee, there's nothing Miami can do about their ACC schedule but beat the teams that they're supposed to beat. It doesn't matter how it looks. And then the other BS argument made by the committee chair, who's also the AD at Michigan. What? How is that even a thing? It should be nobody associated with any college whatsoever, but that's how politically corrupt the NCAA is. He then says, well, Alabama's 3-1 against ranked teams. Alabama lost 24-3 to Oklahoma literally 11 days ago. What are you talking about? That was their third loss, was a blowout loss to a 6-6 Oklahoma team, and they didn't score a touchdown. And you're going to tell me that the 2 losses that Miami had by a combined 9 points to Georgia Tech, 7-5, and Syracuse, 9-3, you're going to tell me that those losses are worse? Come on, man. No, you wanted Alabama in. You've been thinking about Alabama being in this entire time. That's the truth. There's no other way around it. If they could find a way to knock Oregon off of number one, they would. I'm surprised they haven't. I'm surprised because Oregon has so many wins within 5 points. Oh, well then you should be number 7 in the country. No. If you have a better record and you are a Power 4 conference team, you should be above that team. Now, there's essentially 0% zero chance that Miami can get into the college football playoff. And here's the problem. You guys seen Florida State recently? Huh? You seen what happened to that program? A historically great program in Florida State has been ruined because you did not put them in the college football playoff last year. You did not treat them appropriately with how good of a season that they had. And now you probably cost this dude his job. You probably ruined a college football program for the next 10 years. And oh, by the way, it's a college football program that was one of the best in the country. So what are you doing? What is the point of it then? Why are we even playing the games? Because if you're going to believe what you want to believe, regardless of what the results are on the field, there is no point in playing the games. So it's insanely disturbing. It's insanely disturbing. It's not like Alabama has such a good resume. This is not the Nick Saban Bama, dude. This is not their first loss in 29 games. This is their third loss in 12, and they lost to Vandy and to OU. Both of those losses, not including their loss to Tennessee, are worse than the Miami losses to Georgia Tech and Syracuse. You cannot argue me any different. So you have made a colossal mistake, and now you're going to ruin another college football program. Another college football program, poor state of Florida, man, is going to get screwed in the ACC. You're going to ruin another conference. What are we doing, man? Like, seriously, what are we doing? The only thing you did yesterday is you helped out the Alabama faithful. Outside of that, there's not one person in the country, seriously, that can agree with this. And if they do, I disagree wholeheartedly with their college football opinion. Don't talk to me about who they beat. Talk to me about their record. A, what's their record? What was their standing last week? They were ahead of Alabama and they won? No, they lost. Okay, who'd they lose to? A 9-3 team? Oh, well, the week before, Alabama lost to an unranked 5-6 team. So, yeah, I say we should still keep them ahead of Alabama. That's it. You don't have to look any farther than that right there. Don't look any farther. Don't look at the record. Don't look at anything else. Look at their last 2 losses, and I do not care that Miami's last 2 of their 3, 2 of their whole all 2 of their losses came in the last 3 weeks. I don't care when they came. And so in the same week that Miami loses to a good Georgia Tech team that took Georgia, number 5 in the nation, to 7 overtimes, in that same week, Alabama gets slaughtered by Oklahoma. But yet 2 weeks later, we're saying Alabama's better than Miami. I'm sorry. It's ridiculous. It's just, you've lost me. You've lost me. I'd rather go back to the BCS. Give me the computer. I'd rather AI tell me who should be in the championship than you idiots that work at all these schools that for some reason think Alabama is God's gift to college football. It's not. Hey, reality check. The transfer portal has changed college sports. It's not just Alabama, Georgia, SEC, and then everybody else. There's actually a chance here for other teams to win football games. Okay? And look at the conference championship games. SMU, they weren't in that conference last year. Oh my God. Let's look up and down. Let's look up and down this right now. Texas, they weren't even in the SEC last year, conference championship game. How about Oregon, championship game? Weren't in that conference last year. What are we talking about? Seriously, I'm fed up. Give me your thoughts. 12-ounce Sports, our mothership, wrote in. I'm throwing it up on the screen right now. No other team would survive a loss to Vandy and a 3-touchdown beatdown by Oklahoma. ESPN being in bed with the SEC is tainting the playoffs. That is an elite take right there from our mothership. And it could possibly be true. Seriously, it could possibly be true. And it's disturbing. It's disturbing. It's wrong for Miami. Now watch. I guarantee you this time next year, Miami football is going to be like 3-9 because a bunch of those kids are going to transfer. They're going to say, what am I doing here? I can't do anything here to win a national championship when we do have an elite season. So why am I here? when those guys can have a mediocre season at best and they can still get in because the committee wants Alabama in. I'm done with it. It's ridiculous. Let's go to our picks. All right, fired up on a Wednesday because the college football playoff committee is stupid. I want to hear people's disagreements so badly. I can't wait to hear why people think Alabama. Yeah, okay. All right. And you know what? If they win the national championship, I want everyone to hound me too. Go ahead. They get in and they win it all, kill me. But it's just wrong. It's just not right. That's the biggest thing. It's just not right. Yeah. All right. Woo! Yesterday, I took the Cavs at minus 15.5 against the Washington Wizards, who are the worst team in the league. And that worked out for me. The Cavs won by like 27, and we got that one. I took the Magic at plus 5.5 against the New York Knickerbockers. That did not work out for me, although the Magic did make a really big comeback in this game. They were down by like 32 at one point in the fourth quarter, ended up losing by 15. We had the Panthers on the money line. They lost in overtime to the Penguins 5-4. And then, we had the Oilers against the Golden Knights. They lost first goal of the game on the Golden Knights in the first period, and then that was it. Game was over. The Golden Knights win 1-0. So I went 1-3 last night. The NBA and the NHL not giving me a lot of greatness, but I'm staying in it because we got no good football games tonight. And honestly, I did some research last night. I feel really good about the Leafs puck line. They've been playing really good. I feel really well about Cade Cunningham over assists. He's averaging 9.2 a game right now. So whatever they put the over on, take it for Cade Cunningham tonight on the assists. It's just one of those things where the Detroit Pistons are a way better basketball team this year than they were last year. They're playing the Celtics in Boston, and I just feel like when you're a dude that is on the rise as a potential star, you are somebody that rises to the occasion when you play the best team in the league. He's got 8.5 assists per game, 7.1 rebounds per game, and 23.5 points per game does Cade Cunningham. Good on him. And then finally, I'll take the Bucks money line on the Hawks. The Bucks have won 7 straight basketball games. Giannis Antetokounmpo is leading the league right now in points per game at 32.9, which I thought was very impressive. So I'm going to take the Bucks tonight over the Hawks on the money line. The Hawks, though, they're a really good three-point shooting team, so watch out for that. Trae Young also on that assist list with 12.1 per game. Those are my daily.
Ba 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 na na.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and that is what we call the Rome Show on 12ouncesports.com. Broadcasting live on YouTube and X. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the show. You missed it, go to 12ouncesports.com and catch the replay. Go to YouTube, catch the replay or the Rome Show podcast. Hey, be electric today. Have an awesome rest of your Wednesday. Andrew Romanella saying peace.
Thank you for listening.